In today's video, we're going to discuss when is it safe to resume traveling. With the COVID-19 pandemic, the world as you know it has changed, and especially so for those of us that are looking at going to travel this year.
For those of you who are new to our channel, we have been living and traveling full-time in our RV for about 2.5 years, but not all of it has been in our RV. We have done a bit of international travel as well, with our main focus being on finding great spots to surf, specifically on warm beaches, and also to mountain bike.
We love our outdoor adventure sports, and that's really what kind of helps us find our next travel spot, is where's the next great place to go enjoy these activities. We find ourselves though navigating a new world as we decide where is that next place going to be at.
If nothing else, this whole pandemic has brought forth a couple of bright spots to us. Number one, Tucker is potty trained. Can I just get like a hoorah for that? And number two, we have been able to go back in the archives and release or create videos for some of those things that we really wanted to release, but we never got around to doing. So the biggest thing, Jesse has a new intro video for the Back to Baja series that we're gonna be releasing here in the next couple of weeks. So watch this next intro video, please, and let us know what you think.
Cheers. So right now we are supposed to be nowhere near Florida, nowhere near our RV. We're supposed to be over in Bali, Indonesia, living on the southern tip of the island, enjoying the beaches, living the beach life, the salt life, the surf life, and just kind of living it up this year.
I know none of you feel badly for us, but we so much so had our hopes set on traveling to Indonesia this year. Jesse has been many years ago. I've never been, Tucker's never been. Like, this was our year to like go all out.
The reason that this year is kind of a big deal is because we do want to have baby number 2. We didn't want to do that as we're traveling full time. We decided, hey, let's go big this year. Let's travel all over to some of these bucket list places while we can, while we have our health to go surf these amazing waves.
Well, and not while we can. Of course we can with a second baby, but this was our chance to do it without having to wait a few years before baby number 2 is to a point to where we're comfortable with doing that sort of travel with.
Yeah, so it's not gonna happen though, as of right now. So while we're bummed we're not in Bali, hey, not the end of the world, we're gonna live to fight another day. And that kind of comes back to the most important part of this video, which is, when is it safe to travel? I do want to share, we've seen plenty of misinformation out there, and first and foremost, this is not us telling officially when it's safe for you to travel. What we want to share is kind of what we've figured out for our own personal risk tolerance when we feel it's safe to travel, and because of the style we're going to travel, when will that happen? I guess a great example of the misinformation is that all of Florida's beaches have been closed through the pandemic. We've actually been responsibly going to the beach 3 or 4 days a week, if not more, with our son to go get out of the RV. The RV is a little fiberglass box. It gets small pretty quick.
We have a very active 2.5-year-old in our RV, although it is 40 feet long, gets very boring very quickly. And so while there were many reports that Florida's beaches were completely closed, that hasn't been true. For some amount of time, Florida's beaches have been closed to sunbathers. Now, that means if you are just plopping yourself on your towel and enjoying the sun, that wasn't technically allowed. But as long as you were being active on Florida's beaches, that was completely okay. At no point did we ever see public beaches being closed off to the public. Public beach access parking was closed. So you couldn't drive to the beach and park right at the beach entrance. But if you're willing to walk a little bit, Florida's beaches have been open to us.
And it was kind of this little like hidden secret because the beach parking lots were closed, so you assume, oh hey, the beach is closed too. But no, the beach was wide open. You just had to walk to get there.
You had to earn it.
Yeah, you had to earn it. And so we're out there surfing or digging sandcastles with our son. There's plenty of people walking the beach, running the beach, riding bicycles. And so it was a great way for us to get out, get some outdoor time, and still have that buffer where we weren't around people. And I think it's just a great example of not assuming everything you hear is factual, and just kind of taking apart things and getting to the facts. So what we're planning to do is the end of May, sometime around the end of May, it could be June, somewhere in that ballpark, we're going to get wheels moving, and we're just going to travel where we can and kind of fill things out as we go. The great benefit of having an RV that you can camp in off-grid or boondock in is that you don't have to go to a full hookup site. And so we've found in the past that it gives us a lot of freedom. We don't want to camp in a Walmart parking lot or a Cracker Barrel parking lot or a truck stop or at some spot on the side of the highway, but we've done it. It's not the end of the world, and it's definitely an option as a plan B.
And BLM Land, the Bureau of Land Management, they have gone on record recently and they have announced, hey, we are still open. Come out, come to our lands. And with most BLM land areas, you can stay up to 14 days. 2 weeks. I mean, that's a good chunk of time to be isolated, to be away from other people.
Exactly. So there's definitely plenty of opportunities out there. I would say if you have to have full hookups, you would probably want to do more due diligence, do more pre-planning before you take off. But if you're comfortable, not being plugged up for a few days, we feel comfortable enough taking the risk of traveling. And again, I mean, the most exposure we're going to have is getting fuel at a gas pump and sanitizing our hands afterwards.
And with that, for those of you who are uncomfortable with being off-grid for a certain amount of time, there are many options away from RV parks that provide the opportunity to you to dump your tanks and to also fill up with water. I mean, there are many gas stations. You have to go to a gas station anyway. There are many gas stations who offer those services. So don't stress too much about your tanks. There are ways around that.
If you find yourselves looking for some of those services, some great apps and tools to use would be Campendium and Allstays. I'd say actually probably for looking for dump stations and stuff, we'd probably use Allstays the most. But then looking for like random sites to pull in for the night, Campendium's been very good at that. So there's plenty of other tools too. And with those tools, you can typically find somewhere to stay for a period of time.
And avoid people.
For now, to catch you up where we are, we're actually in Central Florida, nearby Cocoa Beach, and we came here to visit family after the holidays, and our plans were to get moving about the time that the virus started to shut things down here. We actually got kind of lucky being stuck here because this is where our family and friends are. So if we are going to be stuck, this is the best place to be stuck at. But with that said though, we're having to reconsider, what are our travel options, and more importantly for this video, when can we safely resume traveling? So as of a couple days ago, the state of Georgia has opened up their state to travel.
That's right.
In fact, we have family, my uncle called me with some RV questions a couple days ago. They're leaving this weekend to go up to Georgia to spend a week or so to go camping at the state parks. And so I think we would agree that if you're able to self-isolate and travel and enjoy the outdoors, it's actually a very healthy choice because, the travel that we're going to do, we're going to be in remote locations doing our thing, and we're not going to be exposing ourselves to lots of people.
Yeah, our goal is to not necessarily be in RV parks around a bunch of other RVers, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, but during this pandemic, we definitely want to keep our distance. And luckily for us, we very much enjoy the outdoors and boondocking and being in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, I guess we're kind of weird like that, but we're happy in the middle of nowhere. with just the woods and us and our son. So we're gonna get more into the details about how we plan to boondock and travel safely. But first wanted to touch back on some of the benefits that have come about from being stuck here stationary. I definitely want to know, those of you watching, what have you been able to accomplish while you've been quarantined or self-isolating or unable to travel? And I think for the most part, a lot of people I've talked to have actually been pretty productive and have had time to, whether it's just, to decompress and de-stress, or to exercise, to work on their diets, to get into certain things they've always wanted to do and didn't have time to do it.
Yeah, I will say it has been phenomenal seeing the amount of things that have suddenly become available online. Courses, if you're interested in learning a new language or a new skill. I've seen so many workout companies offering their programs online, even for kids education. Like we have ABC Mouse for Tucker, which is it's a little bit above his skill level right now, but it's all educational. I know Disney Plus has been offering things. It has been phenomenal the way the entire world basically has come together and gone virtual, which I think is really cool.
And for those of us that are traveling full time, it's awesome because there already were a lot of tools for nomadic people, families and stuff that are traveling, trying to have this lifestyle. But now it's actually opened up this numerous opportunities are coming out now because so many people are learning how to do their job remotely or to work remotely in some fashion. And that's really great for those of us that are traveling full time, and maybe those of you that are considering traveling full time. I think that's probably one of the best things that come out of this virus is just people that didn't consider remote work before. Now they're going to not only think about it, they're going to know what is possible because we've just had to do it.
That, or maybe their bosses never gave them the option, but now that they've kind of been forced into doing remote work or working from home, it might be possible for some people to take their jobs on the road or travel the way they've always wanted to, but never thought that it was an option before.
Yeah, so many opportunities. In fact, just in the last 24 hours, we've had some great opportunities that have come out with my video work, and so I'm going to be able to do video work while we travel. So it's just so many cool things. And I just wanted to throw that out there just to let you guys know, like, just keep your eyes open because there's a lot of opportunities right now. And I know a lot of our viewers are full-time travelers. I know a lot of even more of them are considering or interested in the idea of traveling full-time. And like right now, I think there's a great opportunity for those of you that are thinking about it. So as Jenny mentioned, I have a really cool Back to Baja series coming out. We traveled in an RV through Baja a ways back in the past, but we're actually going back through the footage. We're finishing our travel series, but giving it a new spin and a lot better quality of content. And so please do stay tuned and look for that coming up in the future. We have at least 8 or more episodes for that series through Baja, Mexico. So for those of you that are kind of curious about what it's like to RV through Baja or Mexico, you've got to check it out. It's a pretty cool place, and we got some great videos just to show you all about it.
So these are our current travel plans. Now we will of course take any health considerations into account and travel considerations into account, but all travel limitations aside, we would definitely be in Bali right now. That was our original plan. We wanted to spend almost a whole year in Southeast Asia. As of right now, that's not an option. So we're thinking of being in our RV, and this is where we're planning to travel to.
So our current plan, our plan A, is to take the RV and work our way up to Montana. We have lived in the Northwest. We've been up the East Coast this past year. We haven't been to any of the other interior states. So we'll work our way up to Montana and check out, hopefully, Glacier National Park, all these cool places we've heard about that are up there, and get a feel for that mountain life. And then from there, we'll work our way back down, potentially the West Coast, surfing our way down. A cool option that just came out this year is those of us veterans, many of us can get onto the military bases if you have a VA card. And so we're hoping that we're going to be able to stay at at Camp Pendleton, a Marine base in nearby San Diego, California. And there's San Onofre is the town there, and there's amazing beaches It's probably one of our favorite spots to RV for
Absolutely.
RV campground. Actually, definitely our favorite RV campground. And so we're going to work way down to there if we can. And then from there, we hope to jump on down back into Baja and resume traveling through Baja, which would be cool this time. As experienced Baja travelers.
Cool.
We would know what to do and what not to do, because we did a lot of things wrong the first time, which is why you definitely want to watch that series that's coming out so you can learn from our mistakes. But I think it'd be really cool to go back down to Baja, knowing what we do know now, to do it just much more comfortably, have a better time overall.
Well, and we figured out the areas that we visited in Baja that we definitely want to visit again, and then the areas that we could just avoid, which...
That sounds pretty bad.
Well, no, not avoid, but just we want to be on the beaches. I mean, I'm not going to lie, San Ignacio, you were amazing, and one day I do want to go back, but y'all didn't have anything for beaches. It was just an area to view whales, and if we're limited on time or whatnot, that might be an area that we not visit again.
But we probably will, though, because we have a 2-year-old son now.
Listen,
He
all
will
I
love
want to do,
the whales.
all I want to do is to go to Scorpion Bay. Now that I'm an okay surfer, I just want to stay there the whole time.
He's gotten really good at surfing in this past year.
No, I'm not really good, but I can catch a wave.
No, she's pretty good. And they have amazing surfing there.
I just want to spend the whole time there.
But yeah, Baja has a lot of things for everyone, so it's worth checking out. And that's kind of our workaround. We're not going to make it to Bali. Well, we're probably not going to make it to Bali. If they open up, we'll reconsider how far from we are from parking the RV and flying. But Baja would be a good plan B to get to those tropical-ish beaches. There's scuba diving, there's surfing, there's kite surfing, there's a lot.
And the people were amazing.
Yeah, the culture, the people there are so friendly.
Everyone we met throughout our travels in Baja, they were so welcoming and so friendly. And we've heard the same for Bali. So, like Jesse said, this might scratch our itch enough to put off traveling to Bali for a couple of years.
Yeah. And then for kind of our plan B, we have a few plan Bs essentially, but if international travel does open up, we still want to be very careful with exposure, because as far as we know, we haven't had the virus yet. We don't have immunity, so we'd have to be careful with our exposure. I might consider, we have to talk some more, but we might consider if we could find one direct flight, for example, from Orlando, Florida, which is nearby where we're at, direct to Costa Rica, like San Jose, or down to Panama City. There's some of these Central American countries, it's about a 3-hour flight from Orlando. And so that's definitely a risk. Yes, I'm sure, we could definitely get exposed to the virus, but I feel that it would be much less of a risk than trying a 48-hour flight to Bali, Indonesia.
Yes. Yeah, we got very spoiled when we traveled to Panama for 3 months. We had a direct flight from Orlando to Panama City. We took a taxi to where we were staying. So if you're going to travel, that's a very minimal risk way to, expose yourself to this virus and to germs in general.
Don't expose yourself. The way you said that.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Don't go to the airport and expose yourself.
Don't do that. We do not recommend doing that. You will probably be arrested. Don't expose yourself to germs.
But yeah, right now travel is so slow. We've heard the airports are so empty that, and this is just my 2 cents.
It might not be an awful way to travel right now if there's so many less people.
I think if you were using, your PPE, your protective masks and stuff, and washing your hands, I think you wouldn't have a guarantee, but I think you could do a pretty good job of minimizing your exposure on one direct flight from A to B, and then you're there.
Yep. So Tucker is definitely our weakest link in this proposed form of travel. There is no way we're going to get a mask on an almost 3-year-old toddler, keeping his hands out of anything is very difficult. But it's a risk that, given the right circumstances, we may be willing to take.
Yeah. For now, though, it's not really an option without knowing more of the safety factors. So that's why RVing is plan A. And I think we'll have fun RVing. We're looking forward to having, Bali has some of the world's best surfing, and Jenny hasn't seen this yet, but Just it would just be an incredible place to be at for this summer and for a large part of the year. And RVing is great, but RVing is it's hard to be a surfer and an RVer. It's hard to get to the good beaches and have your RV nearby.
Correct. And for those of you haters out there, we have surfed in the cold. Okay, we have surfed New York, we have surfed Maine, we have surfed Washington and Oregon. So we have surfed the cold water. We understand there are plenty of cold water surfing options to access in our RV. I can be a little bit of a brat when it comes to the water, and I want it warm. Thus, Bali would be perfect for us, which is also, I mean, Baja, Mexico itself, that's not warm water, but at least it's really hot.
Yep. So while this is definitely not a comprehensive guide on when is it safe for you to resume traveling, I just wanted to share these thoughts that we've gone through. And the biggest thing here is exposure. It's about contact with other people. And the biggest takeaway is, is what is your risk tolerance and how much are you willing to risk? I'm a big advocate for living life now while you have it. And so I'm not about to lock my family up inside and say we can't go outside until it's all clear, because there's so much, there's so many things out there that can happen. And the best time to travel is now, but if you can do it responsibly and safely. And so I don't want to waste any time that we have to go travel as a family and have these incredible experiences and memories. And that's why we feel that as so long as we can minimize our exposure to other people, as long as we can, be comfortable and have a great time as a family, we're not going to be a liability. We're not going to be doing crazy things that makes healthcare workers have to come to us. We'll just be hanging out.
I do want to point out that we are taking every precaution that we can when we do have to go out into public, which honestly, the only time we have been going out into public has been to get groceries. We are wearing masks. We are using hand sanitizer. We are being careful so that not only are we not exposed, but we're not exposing anyone else in case we have the virus and we don't know it.
Yeah, so we're doing our part, but we think that we could do our part just as well with the RV parked in the woods by some bike trail in the mountains.
For those of you who are considering traveling or who are currently traveling, we would love to hear your thoughts and your plans. Leave it in the comments below. We want to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, I'd love to know, when do you think is it safe to get out there and, resume life? It doesn't mean we have to go out to rock concerts and hang out with the big crowd at the bar. There's a lot of things we can do right now. And so that's kind of the point of this video today.
Thank you for watching.
And we'll see you next time.